Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the 2014 CollectA Gastonia. I actually just got this figure in the other day. I picked up a couple figures from CollectA off eBay that I just didn't have in my collection, just trying to fill in some holes. And you will notice that the review table looks a little different. That's because I have this Gastonia toy on top of a life-size cast of Gastonia's skull. But I'll be getting more into the skull in just a little bit. So, a couple quick things about Gastonia. Gastonia was described in 1998. It was named to honor U.S. paleontologist Rob Gaston. It was found in the same quarry as Utah raptor. It's from the early Cretaceous period, 125 million years ago. It was discovered in Utah. It is a type of nodosaur, which is a type of armored dinosaur. So let me pull this model down to the bottom of the studio here, and we will jump into the review. Alright, there we go. It looks much better on the base of the studio. It's kind of tough to film it on top of its actual skull. So a couple of quick measurements. This figure is 5 inches long from head to tail, and just about 1 3/4 inches tall to the top of that. Spike on its back. Gastonia was about 15 feet long, so using those measurements, this would put this figure roughly in the 135 scale range. This figure is just about 5 years old now, and that's roughly about the time CollectA really started up in their game. In their sculpts, I really wasn't into CollectA up until a few years ago, and even some of their older models still look pretty good. I actually held off on getting this guy for a while because all the promotional pictures I saw, it's very red. The coloration in the promotional pictures, like there's red on the tail, it was very red throughout the body. I just didn't like the look, and then I actually saw an in-hand picture and it looked much more naturalistic, so that prompted me to finally get this figure, so I'm very happy I picked this little figure up. It's very, very well done. You can see the coloration is mostly a brown color. You got some black stripes going through the armor down the back. All the spikes are done in a white color. And let me just focus in on the head. The eye is done in black, and the beak, it has a little bit of a black wash on it. You have call it a racing stripe down the side of the animal right here that is outlined in black. Underneath the stomach is a cream color, and you got the classic CollectA dirty cloaca, and the tail turns into almost a reddish orange color, and I actually like that. Like I said, I didn't really like that color through almost the whole body of the animal, but it does actually look pretty nice on the tail. Now moving on to the sculpt, we'll take a look at the head right here. You'll notice these two spikes coming out the top of the skull and this bottom spike on the lower jaw. Now if you look at the skull I have right here, if I could just focus in on it, I'll just leave my camera back. You got those spikes right here and right here. There is not one on the jaw. In all the research I've done, there's no mention of this spike on the bottom jaw. So definitely CollectA took some liberty adding that on there. So I would say that is probably not scientifically accurate that it has this little spike right here. Now for the armor placement, they don't know how many spikes or scoots in armor that this dinosaur had, because it was found in a bone bed with multiple individuals all jumbled together. So there is a lot of guesswork in how many, the arrangement of these, placement, and how many they had. So this looks pretty close to some of the mounted skeletons of Gastonia. So it looks really good in that department. You have a lot of nice finely sculpted scales and osteoderms and scoots all along the back right there. It looks really, really nice. Very well detailed. A lot of finely sculpted scales on this relatively small model. Even the stomach has some really nice scalation going all the way to the tail. And it is made out of a softer rubbery material, so you don't have to worry about this tail breaking up. I have to say, pushing your fingers up against these spikes, they are pretty pointy, so just be careful if you're getting this for the kiddos. And moving on to the feet, the front feet have the correct number of digits, and the back feet has 5. I believe now the current scientific understanding is that the Nothosaurs and Coelacanthus had 4 toes. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me and let me know in the comments. And just going back to the skull for 1 second. Now, you notice that the profile of the skull is pretty long and narrow. I'm just going to go back to this skull cast right here. Guess it's pretty handy to actually have a life-size cast to compare a model to. I'm going to turn it around really quick, and you can see the front, that front beak is very wide, and that is really not reflected on the face of this Gastonia figure compared to the actual skull. So the head really, to me, is not that accurate if you're comparing it to the actual skull of the animal. You know, you get that extra spike, and just the profile and width of the snout just doesn't look right, but still, I think this is a decent figure. So let's move on to the comparison section of the review. Alright, first up are some of Gastonia's relatives. Here it is with the Toyway Walking with Dinosaur Coelacanthus, and here it is with the Papo Coelacanthus, and here it is with one of the newer CollectA models. Here it is with the 2019 Boreal Opelta, and you can see those two figures are very similar in size. And here it is with the Safari LTD Sauropelta, and here it is with the new PNSO Ankylosaurus. You can see how much bigger that figure is. And here it is with its quarry mate. This is the Toyway Walking with Dinosaur Utahraptor. Obviously, these do not scale with each other, but still just cool to get these two animals undiscovered in the same bone bed together. So, final thoughts. I think it's a good figure. I don't think it's a great figure. I do have a couple issues with it, namely the shape of the skull and the addition of that spike on the bottom jaw. Other than that, I think 98% of the sculpt is really good. It has a lot of nice fine detail. I do like the coloration on it. I ended up picking this figure up off of eBay the other day. I ordered just a couple of the CollectA figures. I think this figure retails for roughly about $10. You can order these off of everythingdinosaur.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Or you can order this, if you're in the US, you can order from D. Jenkins. I've actually never ordered from them, but I always forget that they do carry CollectA, so I will have to look into them and actually start ordering some stuff from them and see how that goes. So I will also leave a link to D. Jenkins in the description, and that will do it for the review, guys. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Each subscription helps out the channel greatly, and it is greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys for the next one.